Recording in progress.
Very good morning to all. Muy buenos días a todos. A very good morning to all. You are connected to the 59th Directing Council of the Pan American Health Organization, the 73rd session of WHO's Regional Committee for the Americas. We are all connected. There is connection for everyone. We are at the moment confirming quorum to be able to start the session. Please give us maybe 10 more minutes so we give a chance to the other countries to connect. We still don't have quorum. Thank you.
Hola, buenos días. Desde Argentina quisiéramos probar sonido, por favor. ¿Nos escuchan?
Muy bien, Argentina, gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Very good morning. Once again, thank you for being connected to the 59th Directing Council of the Pan American Health Organization, the 73rd session of the Regional Committee of WHO for the Americas. Mr. President, I'm happy to report that we do have quorum now, so we can go ahead with the session. Thank you.
All right, good morning all. I trust you had a good evening. I know you had to spend some additional time after the official session for another official engagement, items 4.7. And I have been advised that it was a productive session and an agreement has been reached. And I want to recommend or to commend you for that, delegates that is. So as a result of those deliberations and conclusions, I'm going to begin with item 4.7, reinvigorating immunization as a public good for universal health, and ask our rapporteur to read the resolution or the changes, I emphasize the changes to the resolution in accordance with the agreement that has been reached last evening. Mr. Rapporteur.
Buenos días, presidente.
Good morning, President. I will now read the text. As requested, I will be reading OP3 of the resolution. This was the focus of deliberations within the working group last night. OP3, to request the director to A, provide technical cooperation and promote collaboration within and across all levels of the organization and member states in support of revitalized immunization efforts to increase regional immunization and facilitate the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, and promote the reconocimiento in Spanish, acknowledgement in the text in English, acceptance and use of safe, effective, and quality assured vaccines authorized according to the international standards recommended by WHO for the production, control, and oversight of these essential health technologies. I will pause here just to say that where it states and promote the reconocimiento, once again, acknowledgement in the text in English, I need to state that the original word is in English, it's acknowledgement, but into Spanish, the translation is reconocimiento. And this is why the suggestion in Spanish was to change that to apreciación. The English remains unchanged, acknowledgement. I would also like to state that OP3B has been stricken. This concludes the reading, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you very much. I will therefore proceed to open the floor to the plenary for any comment or discussion that would like to be raised, and I ask the moderator to manage this segment of the proceedings. The moderator.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We will take note of the request for the floor to discuss the proposed resolution. We recognize Mexico, followed by the United States.
Muchas gracias, señor moderador.
Thank you very much, moderator. I would actually prefer to yield my first turn to the United States. Thank you.
Thank you, Mexico. In that case, we will yield to the United States.
Well, thank you. Good morning to all. And thank you, Ricardo, for yielding. I just wanted to intervene to say that on behalf of the United States, we appreciated the very constructive discussion yesterday. We appreciated the inputs by the PAHO Secretariat to guide our discussions. And we want to thank Canada, Nicola Palang, for chairing the discussion. I think we ended up in a very good place. And so to the plenary, to PAHO, and to all of our colleagues in the member states, we just wanted to thank you for such a constructive engagement. And I think we've landed in a very good place. So thank you very much, and it is greatly appreciated. Thank you, Mr. President. Back to you.
Thank you, United States. We recognize Colombia.
Gracias, señor moderador.
Thank you, moderator. I also wanted to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to all of our colleagues from the very engaged and constructive delegations who gave fruit to what we were seeing here. I would like to also thank our colleagues from Canada for chairing these negotiations and for the wonderful work. As a delegation, we stand very pleased with the final outcome that we have in this consensus-based language that we were able to achieve yesterday. And we thank the Secretariat for having made this process so much easier, and also for providing the technical contributions that were embedded into this document. And so thank you very much to all of my colleagues for all of the works, all of the hours of work, rather, that went into this work. We simply wanted to state that we are very pleased with the document we have before us. Thank you.
We thank Colombia for the intervention. We recognize Brazil, followed by Mexico.
Bom dia a todos. De igual maneira, por parte da delegação.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Brazilian delegation, we wanted to express our strong gratitude that we address to the Canadian delegation for having chaired the meeting and leading us to safe port. We would also like to thank Colombia and the U.S. delegation who contributed the text for this resolution, adapting what had been proposed by the executive committee, and to thank you for the constructive dialogue that we had, the very specific contributions made by the Secretariat, all the technical inputs. We would like to express our gratitude for the last days of work to the Secretariat and to everyone who contributed, because this represents what we have in front of us this morning. And we'd like to thank Canada for chairing our proceedings and leading us to safe haven. Thank you, sir.
We thank Brazil for the intervention. We recognize Mexico, followed by Guyana.
Muchas gracias, señor moderador.
Thank you very much, moderator. Mr. President, good morning, everyone. Mexico appreciates the work that Canada did as the chair of this working group. We also give a very special thanks to Colombia, who is responsible for these proposals and changes and for creating this opportunity to have this technical discussion. This is a document that addresses an issue that is of the utmost importance for better safety and health for our entire region, and I would dare say the world. This is something that not only fosters more work in order to enrich what already exists for the existing health programs, but also talks to us about what we should be doing in the near term, medium, and long term regarding vaccination in general, and more specifically, this universal vaccination plan in order to continue to combat SARS-CoV-2. We thank the US, Brazil, Guyana, and everyone who was part of the technical discussion. There is no doubt that the environment we all enjoy is one that allows for us to share ideas, to discuss what we're thinking, and to do that with great candor, which usually, as we see here, leads to the kind of consensus that we found here around a very technical issue that will ultimately make us a stronger region. Thank you very much.
We thank Mexico for the intervention, and we now yield the floor to the delegation of Guyana.
Thank you so much, and good morning, everyone. We have no intention of delaying consideration of this item any longer, and so at the appropriate time of voting, Guyana will support the resolution. We echo the words of the US delegate before. There were constructive and accommodating discourse and a willingness by everyone, because we all support the intention of this resolution. While we support the resolution, we do still have strong reservations, those that I expressed in the working group before. Yesterday, September 23rd, at the UN, Guyana's president, His Excellency President Irfaan Ali, appealed to leaders not to divide and polarize the world based on COVID-19 vaccines used so far as we confront the deadly SARS-CoV-2 virus. We are concerned that the way the present resolution evolved sets the stage for potential discriminatory practices, even if no such action is envisaged. We are voting in solidarity with our family of countries, but we do have strong reservations. And in spite of the well-intentioned objectives, there is the possibility of actions never intended. Guyana is fully committed to vaccines as a public good. Guyana's vaccination and immunization program with vaccines to prevent diseases across the life phases has been acknowledged. We believe that the vaccination and immunization programs across the region can benefit from new initiatives to reinvigorate the immunization platform in order to guarantee success in meeting the targets of the Sustainable Development Goals. And we believe that this is the intention of this resolution. COVID-19 poses special, extenuating, and unprecedented circumstances. The inequitable access to COVID-19 vaccines that persists today has forced countries to take actions to safeguard their citizens with vaccines such as Sputnik V, which has not yet completed emergency use authorization process through the WHO mechanism. Several countries have utilized Sputnik V vaccines for their citizens. We would urge the director to ensure that the special and extenuating circumstances that force countries to utilize non-WHO listed vaccines are not used to disadvantage citizens anywhere country. With those reservations, we will support this resolution. And we thank all of our colleagues for having the patience and indulge us. Thank you very much.
We thank Guyana for the intervention. We see no additional requests for the floor at this time. Mr. President, we turn back to you.
Thank you very much. Firstly, let me take the opportunity to echo the sentiments expressed earlier by delegates from Brazil, the US, Mexico, and Guyana on the work that has been done last evening, to bring consensus and agreement around this particular item 4.7 It's a very important item for the region, very important that consensus was reached, and the sentiments expressed is a demonstration of a commitment by the region, certainly to commit to a process that advances public health, and in particular around the COVID-19 pandemic that we have to face, but the lessons learned as we advance further to confront any other similar health threat. So really want to
Mr.
say,
President, sorry.
yes, Diana?
As this is happening right now, our UN office, where our president is present, is listening, and has instructed us to abstain on this vote. So I just wanted to, this is the newest instructions we have gotten. And I'm sorry for this, but.
Thank you. Your comments are noted, Delegate from Guyana. Just to clarify that the process does not involve a vote. However, and I was going to say that your reservations, your comments will be noted in the final report. So it will be reflected, the concerns that you have raised, as we attempt to allow the process to cater to all views in the interest of advancing the consensus and the collaboration and the transparency that we seek as a governing body. So just to say again that the comments that you have raised will be noted in the final report. But I was also saying that I want to just recognize the role of Canada for chairing and these discussions last evening, and of course for the consensus that has been arrived at. So having listened, and I think we are at a stage where there is agreement on item 4.7. I would like us to proceed to the next item. That the resolution is passed. Thank you very much. Okay, so we are moving nicely to two additional items. Item number 9, which is other matters that we may want to raise. And I'd like Dr. Etienne, if there are any other matters that she would like to bring to the attention of the council, I would like to invite her now to take the floor. Dr. Etienne.
I have none. Merely, I want to thank member states for bringing home this resolution. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Very short and efficient. I ask if there are any other items that the delegates would like to raise now on the agenda under other matters. The floor is open, and I'll ask our moderator to conduct this segment.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We will now register requests for the floor for this agenda item. I believe we saw a request from the delegation of Chile. No, Mr. President, we see no request for the floor. We'll turn back to you.
Okay, I would like to inform the council that these discussions, well, let's move to the next item, sorry. Item number 10. Invite now.
Presidente.
There is a comment that, okay.
Mr. President,
Yes. I'm not sure who.
I apologize, Mr. President, but the delegation of Chile has raised its hand.
Okay. All right, please go ahead, Chile.
Muchas gracias, señor presidente.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of the delegation of Chile, it is a pleasure to address this august assembly to invite all members of PAHO to the launch for the Americas of the Decade for Healthy Aging 2021-2030 that will take place on October 22nd in Santiago, Chile, at the headquarters of the Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, ECLAC. The government of Chile, together with PAHO and ECLAC, will launch the UN Decade for Healthy Aging through a dialogue that will heighten the need for including aging in national and international agendas, considering the push that ought to be given to public policies aimed at the elderly population. In this context, the government of Chile has prepared a declaration, a proposed declaration for the Decade of Healthy Aging of the Americas that will be circulated today, and we invite all member states to join us in signing and supporting that declaration. We invite you to participate virtually for the launch of this declaration that will take place on October 22nd, as I pointed out previously. We will send you additional information through the official channels. And thank you very much, Mr. President. I apologize for taking the floor, sir.
Not at all. Your comments are welcome. Mr. Moderator, I think you have one other hand raised.
Indeed, thank you very much, Mr. President. We recognize the delegation of Barbados.
I'm not too sure, Mr. President, if I accidentally raised a hand, but I had no intention of speaking at this point.
Okay, well, always welcome to hear from you, colleague in the Caribbean, but thank you for that. Okay, that's it.
Yes, we register no additional requests, Mr. President.
All right, excellent. Okay, so we proceed now to the next item, which represents the final item, item 10, closure of this session. And I would like now to introduce, who needs no introduction, the director, Madam Director, Dr. Etienne, for her comments.
Thank you, Mr. President. President of the 59th Directing Council, Honorable Dr. Christopher Tufton, who is also the Minister of Health and Welfare and Wellness of Jamaica, distinguished delegates and member states and participating and associate members and observer states and colleagues, esteemed ladies and gentlemen. So let me say good morning. And with that, I note that we've come to the end of a truly inspiring and what has been a highly productive 59th Directing Council of the Pan American Health Organization. And while we did encounter some minor challenges related to the virtual conduct of this meeting, I am extremely satisfied and very pleased that you brought your boldest and most creative ideas to bear on our deliberations. I had asked you that, requested of you this in my opening remarks. You also ensured that a spirit of solidarity and a focus on pro-equity considerations remain central to our policy recommendations as we recover and build from the unprecedented catastrophe of our lifetime. During this meeting, you reiterated the need to prioritize equity, not only in relations to actions in health, but also with regards to those societal actions that are required for advancing the well-being of all people. Additionally, I heard a clarion call over and over for greater cooperation and information sharing, for a union of forces to beat this pandemic. And we were reminded of your government's endeavors in this pandemic to make health in all policies a reality. Distinguished delegates, you once again emphasized the need to strengthen health systems, to be more resilient and responsive to the public health emergencies. Emergencies such as the COVID-19 pandemic. But I was particularly heartened that you explicitly acknowledged the need for greater investments in health systems, including in the essential public health functions and health in general. We must ensure that becomes a reality. You expressed immense gratitude to all health workers for their unstinted dedication, their persistence in the light of so many obstacles, the sacrifices which some of them made, even with their lives, as they managed what was an overwhelming and continues to be an overwhelming COVID-19 caseloads in the face of extensive shortages of PPEs, still continuing today, therapeutics, and other health technology. I just want to join with you today, once again, in saluting all of our healthcare workers. You have recognized and fully supported the need for innovation, including the use of artificial intelligence and other health technologies to advance data science in public health, to enable the development of robust evidence-based health policies. You painfully recall those national and regional challenges which negatively impacted your pandemic responses, including global supply chain failures, inequities in availability and distribution of essential supplies, limited or no regional production capacity, inadequate regulatory and support systems, all of which culminated in the deepening of the vulnerability of this region. Against this background, we have come to recognize the strategic importance of this policy on self-sufficiency, which would enable increased national and regional production and increase access to vaccines, but not only vaccines, to essential medicines and health technology. And so in this regard, the Secretariat has taken note of your emphasis on the importance of South-South triangular and multilateral cooperation, particularly with entities such as WHO, the World Trade Organization, and key private sector stakeholders. I appreciate that member states have recognized the potential public health threats that can be precipitated by actions at the human, animal, and environmental interface. And you have unanimously supported the One Health comprehensive, multi-sectoral, multi-stakeholder approaches. Together, we lamented the general decline in vaccination coverage in the Americas, with increasing levels of vaccine hesitancy, all of which have been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. I really implore your genuine attention to expand coverage, improve vaccine outreach programs, invest in the first level of care, and to address the issue of vaccine hesitancy. This is actually preventing us from exiting COVID-19, but beyond this will also affect our vaccination programs going well into the future. Through the critical issue, though the critical issue of assessed contributions was highlighted as a real challenge for member states, particularly those experiencing the negative economic impacts as a result of the pandemic, the absolute necessity for predictable, flexible funding for the Secretariat in order to be able to execute its technical cooperation with member states was also underscored. Once again, permit me to publicly applaud those member states that have already remitted their assessed contributions. And I wish to appeal to the others to please meet your financial obligations to the organization. Your indefatigable spirit and determination allowed you to discuss and adopt no less than 13 resolutions that were proposed. Also, 2 clinical side events were convened. One on technology transfer for production of mRNA vaccines, and the other on a comprehensive response for tackling the prolonged crisis resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic. Those were both critical side events. You will be happy to hear that the daily average of persons connected to this forum for the first 3 days was 2,533, in 2 days exceeding 3,000. The region has been listening and the world has been listening to us as we deliberated on some of the really priority issues for this time, but also for ensuring that the rights, we can deliver on rights and we can move to health and well-being and advance on our way towards the Sustainable Development Goals. As we continue the fight during the COVID-19 pandemic, on the basis of your deliberations, today I am very confident that together, unified in the spirit of Pan-American solidarity, that we will vanquish this SARS coronavirus 2 and be much better prepared in real terms for the next pandemic, having taken on board and to heart the lessons learned in this chapter of public health. Our people, as well as history, will demand that we learn from this experience. So in this regard, we welcome the commitments made by all major players yesterday, 2 days ago, at the US-led Global COVID-19 Summit, with the objective of meeting the goal of vaccinating at least 70% of all people in all countries by the end of 2022. Significant investments will be made by the US and the European Union and other countries have stated their commitment to meeting this goal. In closing, and on behalf of all of us, I would like to convey our special thanks and deep appreciation to our President, Honorable Dr. Christopher Tufton, who is the Minister of Health and Wellness of Jamaica, as we said. You will agree with me that his hand was steady and he displayed skillful management of this 59th Directing Council. Thank you, Minister Tufton. I would also like to express our sincerest gratitude to the President of the Executive Committee, the Vice President of this Directing Council, the Vice President of Ecuador, as well as our Rapporteur, who all discharged their respective functions with diligence and excellence. I also wish to record our genuine and collective thanks to our Deputy Director, Mrs. Marilu Valdez, for her dedicated and effortless, gracious work as Secretary of the Directing Council. To our governing bodies' offices for their efficient planning, management, and execution of all matters related to this second virtual Directing Council meeting. And I want to make special mention of Monica Davoli Zachary. And to the staff of our departments of communications and information technology for all of their dynamic support with enabling effective and uninterrupted connectivity. And let me greet the other members of the executive management and to thank them, legal counsel, and all of our staff at the Secretariat for their tireless efforts, their sterling contributions, and the magnanimous support, both during and prior to this week's meeting. I also would like to thank all of the delegates to this meeting who were so diligent in and active in their participation. On behalf of all of the delegates, I want to extend a wholehearted thank you to our talented interpreters, without whom we would not have been able to conduct our work in such an efficient and seamless manner. We would have been in a situation of the Tower of Babel. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, I congratulate and thank you all for a job well done. And I do look forward to your continued unstinting support, your active engagement, and unwavering solidarity with the Pan American Sanitary Bureau as we continue to work to save lives and improve the health and well-being of all peoples while fighting this monumental battle against the minuscule COVID-19 virus. A tiny, 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 tiny particle can cause so much so much pain and suffering in the world. But I am convinced that together we will overcome. So let me thank all of you very, very much. Good and goodbye. At this moment, I would like to present the hammer to our outgoing president of the Directing Council, Minister Tufton, and I'm going to ask Monica to do the honors and to present to our president the hammer. You did it already, Monica?
I'll do it again. I'll do it again.
Yeah, and show us.
There we go.
Here we go again.
So, Mr. Tufton, Minister, you can open it first to see now for the
Oh,
rest.
okay. Here we go.
What should you open it to? Okay.
Here we go. Oh, I'm ready.
Thank you. So you can use it for your final.
Okay, I will.
Thank you.
That's it. So, before I want to thank Madam Director for her excellent charge and comments. My understanding is that there are some final announcements. Is that so, Monica? So I'm going to hand over to you for the final announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. So all the resolutions of the Directing Council approved in the last week are uploaded in the resolution tracking system that delegates have access through the app. Please, if you need urgently the text of those resolutions, you're invited to download it from the resolution tracking system. The access to that system was shared to all delegates. The final text of the resolutions will be published on the webpage of the Directing Council by the end of next week. Then, for those members of the Executive Committee, Costa Rica, Haiti, Mexico, Brazil, Cuba, Suriname, Argentina, Bolivia, and Jamaica, you are invited to stay in the same virtual room, and the 169th session of the Executive Committee of PAHO will start at 11:30 a.m. Washington time, in approximately a little over an hour from now. All other member states are invited to attend the Executive Committee on their condition as observers. You're all welcome. Yeah, that's it, Minister. It starts at 11:30 and it's in this platform, and we hope to see you then. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So it's just for me to say a brief final remarks. First of all, I want to thank
Honduras has asked for the floor before you close, maybe?
sorry.
Honduras apparently has requested the floor.
I
before
see,
close.
okay. There's one delegate with their hand up on the electronic platform, Honduras. Would you like to comment?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. President. Dr. Carissa Tien. We want to send a special message at the end of this meeting. It is a pleasure for me to address you on behalf of the people in the government of Honduras to congratulate you for this success attained in the deliberations of this 59th Directing Council. At the same time, we'd like to thank the Pan American Health Organization, and in particular to our distinguished director, Dr. Carissa Etienne, for her tireless work done for the benefit of the health of our fellow citizens in this huge challenge for our health systems in dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. Honduras has felt supported and backed by the representation by the country office of the organization here in our country. We have been highly favored by the way in which you managed this situation to have access to the COVID-19 vaccine, as well as all the other vaccines in our immunization schedule. During these times of a global challenge, it is essential that we place health as a basis of the development of our peoples and nations, and that we take the slogan that the value of saving wildlife always goes beyond its cost, and this will only be achieved based on joint work and solidarity amongst the member countries. To conclude, I reiterate our eternal gratitude to all the sister nations throughout the globe that have supported Honduras, expressing their solidarity and holding our hands during this pandemic. Let us recall today more than ever, distinguished colleagues and members of the organization, it is necessary not to leave anyone behind. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Okay. I see no other indication on the electronic board that others would like to contribute or at this time. So it's just for me to add my very brief closing remarks. First of all, to thank our director, Dr. Etienne, for her leadership. I have served as Minister of Health for Jamaica. I've had the honor to serve for the past 5 or so years, 5+ years, and at the same time under the leadership of Dr. Etienne at this regional level, and must say that she has been a tower of strength, certainly to me in terms of my own policy as a leader for PAHO, and PAHO has been quite supportive, and I'm sure the region can say the same. And as it relates to the 59th session, I want to thank her and her team for allowing myself and Jamaica the opportunity to provide leadership at this level. I've certainly learned a lot. I think the session was very productive. I think the resolutions and the work that has gone into them were quite relevant to the times, to the challenges of public health. And I think how we conducted ourselves and the coordination in a very difficult time with using the electronic platform, doing virtual meetings and discussions went well, and is a reflection of the work that took place prior to us getting here. Because I know this was just a reflection, in a sense, the results of so many hours that had to be put in or invested months before, maybe even longer, to prepare for the last 5 days, which went, to my mind, seamless, with very little, if any, glitches, and allowed, most importantly, all the member states, delegates, to participate in a sense of comfort and transparency and reflecting their views as they so desired. So I really felt comfortable. I feel honored to have been given this opportunity. And I too want to place on record my thanks to all who have played their important role, as mentioned by our director. I think that the fact that we have passed 13 resolutions, we've had over 2,500 participants over the past 5 days, is an indication too of the relevance of the Pan American Health Organization, the relevance of collaboration and consensus. And in these very difficult public health challenges of COVID-19, it demonstrates the leadership that PAHO has provided and will continue to provide. So thank you very much. I do note that a number of us have a meeting in a short while, but I'd like to take the opportunity now to declare the 59th session of the Directing Council closed. Thank you. Right then. Oh.
Goodbye. Thanks.